I'm currently standing in Yakutsk, Siberia, the coldest city on Earth. And right now it's minus 52 degrees outside. And I'm not joking when I say that in these temperatures, your body is literally fighting to survive every single second you're outside. Every breath I take turns into ice crystals the moment I exhale. My eyelashes are freezing together, and the inside of my nose completely frozen solid. In just 10 minutes out here, you can get frostbite. And after a few hours without proper shelter, this cold will actually kill you. But here's the crazy part. 300,000 people choose to live here. They wake up, go to work, raise families, and live completely normal lives in temperatures that would shut down entire countries. And I just committed to spending 100 hours here to understand how the hell that's even possible. So here's the plan. I'm going to experience everything. The morning commutes, the frozen markets, the underground life, the way people eat, sleep, and survive. And at the end of this, I'm taking an ice bath in minus 50 degrees, which might be the dumbest decision I've ever made. Let's see if I can actually survive this. Okay, so getting here was absolutely insane. My journey from Amsterdam to Yakutsk took 27 hours. And because all flights from Europe to Russia have been blocked since 2022, I had to route through Asia. First to Dubai, then to Bangkok, and finally into Russia through the back door. But here's where it gets really complicated. Foreign credit cards don't work in Russia at all. Visa, MasterCard, Apple Pay, nothing. So I had to bring $3,500 in cash just to survive for 5 days. And walking through airports with that much cash made me more nervous than the actual cold. The moment I landed in Yakutsk, I could feel it. Even inside the airport, there's this heaviness in the air, like the cold is trying to get in through every crack and window. And when I finally stepped outside, holy shit, it's not just cold, it's painful. The hairs inside my nose froze instantly, like I could feel each individual hair turning into a tiny icicle. My first breath felt like inhaling broken glass, and my lungs actually hurt like they were rejecting the air. I need to get inside. All right, so I made it to my apartment. And the first thing I noticed? Doors. So many doors. To get inside any building here, you have to pass through at least 3 separate doors. Sometimes 4. They call these airlocks, and they're designed to stop the extreme cold from rushing inside every time someone enters. It's actually genius when you think about it. Each door creates a buffer zone, so by the time you reach the inside, the temperature has gradually shifted from minus 50 to plus 20. Without these, heating a building here would be almost impossible. And another thing, the windows. Every single window has 3 layers of glass. Triple glazing is standard, because a normal window, it would frost over completely within minutes, and all your heat would just disappear into the Siberian void. Okay, tomorrow morning I'm waking up early to see how people actually commute to work in this. Because right now, I honestly have no idea how that's even possible. It's 7 a.m. and I just stepped outside to see the morning rush hour. And the first thing I see, cars everywhere. But here's the thing, every single car is running. Engines on, exhaust pouring out, but nobody's inside them. Let me explain. If you turn your car off in this temperature, the engine oil freezes solid within 20 minutes. And once that happens, your car is done. It won't start again until spring. So people just leave their cars running whenever they park. Going into a grocery store, engine stays on. Stopping at a friend's house, engine stays on. And if you don't want to waste fuel all winter, you have 2 other options. The first is this thick thermal cover called a Natasha. It costs about €400, and you wrap your entire car in it overnight to keep the engine warm. The second option, heated garages, but those are only for wealthy people because you're basically paying rent for your car all winter. Some people here just give up entirely. They park their car in October and don't touch it again until April. 3 months of winter, and your car just sits there like a frozen metal block. But here's what really blew my mind. I'm watching people run at crosswalks, like full sprint, and I thought maybe they're just late for work. But then my guide explained it to me. They're running to beat the stoplight, because if you miss the light, you have to stand outside for 60 seconds waiting for it to change. And 60 seconds in -45 is not just uncomfortable. It's dangerous, so everyone just sprints. It's completely normal here. You either run or you freeze. Okay, I've been walking around the city for about 15 minutes, and I need to address something. My nose. It's becoming a serious problem. There's this one spot on the tip that's starting to sting really badly, and I know exactly what that means. Frostbite. Let me quickly explain how this works because it's actually terrifying. There are 4 stages of frostbite. Stage 1 is superficial. Your skin gets red and numb, but you can recover pretty easily. Stage 2 goes deeper. You get blisters and swelling. Stage 3 damages the tissue underneath. And Stage 4, your skin turns black. The tissue dies completely, and you need to amputate. And here's the scary part. At -47 degrees, you can go from Stage 1 to Stage 4 in less than 30 minutes if you're not careful. So for the rest of this trip, I need to check my nose constantly. We're going inside now. All right, I'm warm again. Crisis avoided. But this is the reality of filming here. Every 15 minutes I have to run back inside to warm up. And it's not just my nose. My fingers are in constant pain even with thick gloves. My camera screen keeps going black because the LCD freezes. And my batteries? They die in about 10 minutes. I filmed in a lot of extreme places, but this is different. This isn't just uncomfortable. It's a genuine fight against the environment every single moment you're outside. And the people here do this every single day for 3 months straight. I don't know how they do it. So I'm walking through the city, and I keep seeing these massive pipes running above the ground. Like huge industrial pipes just suspended in the air on metal pillars running through the entire city. And at first I thought maybe they're broken or under construction. But no, this is how the city is designed. And the reason is actually fascinating. Underneath Yakutsk, there's a layer of permafrost ice that goes down 1,000 meters. Permanently frozen ground that never melts, even in summer. So putting pipes underground doesn't make any sense. You'd have to dig through solid ice just to install them, and even if you did, they'd freeze and crack immediately. So instead, they just run everything above ground. Water pipes, heating pipes, sewage pipes, all of it. And they wrap them in thick insulation to keep them from freezing. It looks insane, but it works. But here's the problem. When there's a leak, this happens. Look at this. You can see where water sprayed out of the pipe and instantly froze into this massive ice sculpture. And the repair crew tried to fix it, but they couldn't stop the leak fast enough. So now there's just this giant frozen waterfall in the middle of the street. And it'll stay there until spring. Did you know that almost every building in Yakutsk is built on stilts, like raised up on concrete pillars about 2 meters off the ground? And the reason is actually really smart. If buildings sat directly on the ground, they'd transfer heat into the permafrost below. That heat would melt the ice, the ground would become unstable, and the entire building would collapse. So they use these pillars to create an air gap between the building and the ground. The cold air circulates underneath, keeping the permafrost frozen and the building stable. It's brilliant engineering, but it also makes the city look really strange, like everything is floating slightly above the ground. Okay, so it's the afternoon, and I want to show you something that completely blew my mind. The coldest outdoor market in the world. Right now it's -46 degrees, and I'm about to walk through a market where everything is frozen solid. Fish, meat, vegetables, everything. And nothing spoils because it's all naturally deep frozen. Let's go inside. Oh my God. This is insane. Look at this. I'm literally holding a frozen rabbit. It's rock solid. And over here, frozen fish stacked like logs. And this woman is selling massive sides of beef that have been sitting outside for weeks, perfectly preserved. How much is this fish? She says 2,000 rubles per kilo. So this entire fish would cost about 340 euros. And the crazy part, it's been sitting in this stall for 3 days, completely exposed to the air, and it's still perfectly good to eat. I need to ask her something. How many layers are you wearing right now? She starts counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She's wearing 7 layers of clothing. And she works here 12 hours a day, from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., standing in -46 degrees, selling frozen fish. How do you do this every day? She just shrugs and says, "You get used to it." I don't think I could ever get used to this. So behind her there's a cow head, like a full cow head, just sitting on the table. And I have to ask, why would someone buy a cow head? She explains that people use it to make a traditional soup. You boil the entire head for hours, and it creates this rich, fatty broth that's incredibly warming. In winter, people eat it constantly because it gives you energy and keeps you warm from the inside. And then I see something even stranger: frozen horse meat. Apparently, horse meat is a delicacy here, and people eat it raw when it's frozen like this. They slice it thin, add salt and onions, and it's considered a traditional dish. I'm gonna try it later. I have to. We just bought a massive frozen fish from the market, and tonight we're going to eat it. Raw. Straight from the freezer. Because here's something I learned. When food is deep frozen at these extreme temperatures, all the bacteria and parasites die. So you can eat frozen fish completely raw, and it's actually safe. It's called stroganina, and it's a traditional Yakut dish. You take the frozen fish, shave off thin slices with a knife, dip them in salt and oil, and just eat them frozen. It sounds insane, but apparently it's delicious. I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, it's evening now, and I want to try something. I've seen videos of people doing experiments in extreme cold, like throwing boiling water in the air and watching it turn to snow. But I want to test how fast normal things freeze here. So I brought a banana, a wet t-shirt, and a bottle of water. Let's see what happens. First, the banana. But after just 2 minutes outside in -50, look at this. It's rock solid. I can literally use it as a hammer. Watch. I'm gonna try to nail this into the wall. It works. The banana is harder than wood. Now the t-shirt. I soaked it in water, and I'm going to hold it outside for 5 minutes. Let's see what happens. All right, it's been 5 minutes. And look at this. The t-shirt is completely frozen stiff. It's like holding a piece of cardboard. And watch what happens when I try to fold it. It snaps in half. The fabric literally breaks like glass. And when he said pet, I thought maybe a dog or a cat. But no, he has a wolf. A real full-grown wolf chained up in his backyard. And I need to ask him why. He explains that 8 years ago, a shaman told him that keeping a wolf would bring spiritual protection to his life. So he got a wolf cub and has been raising it ever since. The wolf has been chained in his yard for 8 years, never free, just pacing back and forth in the same small area. And I don't really know how to feel about this. On one hand, wolves are native to this region and can handle the cold incredibly well with their thick fur. But on the other hand, this animal has been trapped here for almost a decade. Can I get closer? He says no. The wolf doesn't trust anyone except him. If I get too close, it might attack. This whole situation just feels heavy. It's about 5 p.m. now, and I just saw something that stopped me in my tracks. A homeless man riding a bicycle through the city in -48 degrees. And I have so many questions. How is someone homeless here? How do you survive? I need to talk to him. Excuse me, can I ask you something? How long have you been homeless in Yakutsk? He says since 2014, that's 11 years. He's been riding this bike through the coldest city on earth for 11 years. But where do you sleep? He explains that he's not completely homeless. He has a spot in a shelter in the Sakha region, and the government gives him a small allowance every month to buy food. But during the day, he just rides around the city. He's been diagnosed with schizophrenia, which makes it impossible for him to hold a job. So this is his life. And then he says something that completely surprises me. He prefers winter to summer, because in summer the rain ruins his bike. But in winter, everything is frozen and stable. He says he'd choose -50 over rain any day. I don't even know what to say to that. Okay, so tonight I'm doing something I've been dreading since I got here. I'm going to a cemetery to watch how graves are dug in permafrost. Because here's the thing, the ground is frozen solid to a depth of over 100 meters. So how do you bury someone? We're meeting a team of grave diggers who've been working on a grave for the past 4 days. And apparently the process is insane. All right, we're here. And this is what they do. First, they light hot coals directly on the ground and leave them burning overnight. The heat slowly melts the top layer of permafrost. Then the next day they dig out about 40 centimeters of dirt. Then they repeat the process. More coals, more melting, more digging. It takes 5 to 7 days to dig a single grave. Can I try digging? They hand me a pickaxe and I start swinging. And oh my God, it's like trying to dig through concrete. Even after melting the ground with coals, it's still rock hard. Every swing vibrates through my entire body. How do you do this every day? They just laugh. One of the workers says they dig about 100 graves a week in winter because people still die and they still need to be buried. So they just do it, day after day in -50. So right now, I'm standing at the bottom of a finished grave. It's 175 centimeters deep, which is the standard depth here. And it's the strangest feeling. I'm standing in a hole that took 7 days to dig because the ground is frozen solid. And in a few days, someone will be buried here. I reach out and touch the wall of the grave, and it feels like touching stone. Completely solid. And it's weird to think that this is where everyone here eventually ends up. In a hole carved out of frozen earth. It's dark, we should go. Okay, it's day 3, and my nose is getting worse. That red spot I noticed yesterday has turned into a dark patch, and it's really starting to worry me. I've been checking it constantly, and I think I'm in the early stages of 2nd-degree frostbite. If this gets any worse, I might need to see a doctor. And if it reaches stage 4, they'll have to amputate the damaged tissue. So yeah, I'm being really careful now. But the problem is, I still have so much filming to do. So I'm going to keep going, but I'm limiting my outdoor time to 10 minutes max per session. Let's keep moving. So today I'm doing something that sounds absolutely insane. I'm playing football in -45 degrees with a group of local students who apparently do this during their lunch breaks. And I have so many questions. How does the ball even work? How do you run without freezing? Do you sweat? Let's find out. All right, we're outside. 4 on 4, let's go. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, this is horrible. After just 2 minutes, my lungs are burning. My face is completely numb. And the ball, it's already starting to feel weird, like it's losing air. And then after 4 minutes, I have to stop. My nose is stinging so badly that I can't focus on anything else. I'm getting frostbite again. I need to go inside. Right now, we get inside and I check my GoPro. Completely frozen. The screen won't turn on. And my main camera is barely working. And here's another weird thing. I didn't sweat at all, because sweat is water, and water freezes instantly in this cold. So your body just doesn't produce it. And the ball, look at this. It's completely deflated and cracked. The extreme cold made the rubber brittle, and the pressure inside dropped. After 15 minutes, you literally can't play football anymore. This is insane. Okay, so I've been here for 4 days now, and tomorrow is my last day. And I've decided to do something that might be the most dangerous thing I've ever attempted. I'm taking an ice bath in the frozen river in -52 degrees. And just to be clear, I know this is stupid. I know this is dangerous. They believe it strengthens the immune system and keeps them healthy. So I need to experience it, but I'm terrified. It's the final morning, and we're standing on the frozen Lena River. The ice is over 1 meter thick, and there's a small hole that local swimmers use every day. But the problem is the hole freezes over every few hours, so they have to keep breaking the ice to keep it open. And that's what we're doing right now. Smashing through the ice with metal bars to create a big enough hole for me to fit in. Okay, the hole is ready. And now I need to change into swimming shorts. And here's the thing. I have maybe 2 minutes to change, get in the water, and get out before the cold becomes life-threatening. I'm not joking. 2 minutes. Let's do this. Okay, I'm changed. And I'm standing at the edge of the hole, and I can see the water, and it looks black and terrifying. And I need to just jump in before I lose my nerve. 3, 2, 1. Oh my God. Oh my God. Help me. Help. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Get me out. Get me out. Okay. I'm out. And I have never felt cold like this in my entire life. My whole body is screaming. My lungs won't work. I can't think. I just need to get to the warm cabin. We sprint to the cabin and I'm shaking so violently that I can barely stand. My hair is frozen solid, ice is forming on my skin, and I feel like I'm going to pass out. But then slowly, warmth starts to come back. and I realize I'm okay. I survived. So while I was inside changing and warming up, I saw something that completely shocked me. The guy who went into the ice bath with me, he didn't go inside to change. He changed outside, in minus 52 degrees, completely naked for about 3 minutes while he put his clothes back on. I need to talk to him. How long have you been doing this? He says 35 years. He started when he was in 8th grade because he had chronic lung disease, and doctors told him to try cold water therapy. So he started taking ice baths every single day, and over time his lung condition completely healed, and he's been doing it ever since. 35 years of ice baths in the coldest city on Earth. Has anything bad ever happened? He just shakes his head. No, nothing. He's never gotten sick, never had an accident, never had any problems. He says the cold made him stronger. And then he explains something really interesting. He says when you expose your body to extreme cold regularly, it activates something called brown fat. It's a special type of fat that babies are born with to help them survive. But as we grow up, it disappears. However, if you expose yourself to extreme cold, your body starts producing it again. And brown fat helps your body generate heat and fight off illness. So in a way, the cold makes you healthier. I don't know if I believe that, but I respect it. All right, so this is where my 100 hours in Yakutsk comes to an end. And I'm sitting here with a fresh layer of frostbite on my nose, completely exhausted, and honestly, a little bit emotional. Because I came here expecting to film the coldest city on Earth and show people how extreme it is. And yeah, it's extreme. The cold is brutal, the conditions are unforgiving, and every single day is a fight just to stay warm. But what I didn't expect was how human this place would feel. I expected isolation, but I found community. I expected people to be closed off and harsh, but everyone I met was kind, welcoming, and genuinely happy to share their lives with me. The fish vendor who works 12 hours a day in minus 46. The grave diggers who carve through frozen earth. The man who's been taking ice baths for 35 years. The homeless man who prefers winter to summer. These people aren't just surviving, they're living. They've built an entire functioning city in a place where survival shouldn't even be possible. And they've done it with creativity, resilience, and an acceptance of the cold that I'll never fully understand. And honestly, traveling to Russia with all the restrictions and complications was more stressful than the cold itself. Because where I expected tension, I found humanity. So yeah, I survived 100 hours in the coldest city on Earth. Barely. My nose might never be the same. My fingers still hurt, and I'm pretty sure I lost a few brain cells from lack of oxygen. But I'm glad I came, because sometimes the most extreme places teach you the most about what it means to be human.